Throughout my entire life, I had always thought that Brazil was the worst place on earth. But then one day it came to my attention that I had never met an Australian that I did not have extreme disdain for. This is when I decided to research Australia. Well, it did not take long until I was struck with the realisation that I had been falsely labelling Brazil as the worst country in the world.
For the longest time, I was pretty worked up over Australia. I simply could not handle the fact that such a terrible place actually existed. They lived amongst animals that you would only otherwise see by watching In the Night Garden. I was certainly pretty mad over the existence of Australia. I mean, just how could a nation exist that was built from convicts that no one else wanted, and that also managed to lose a war to a bunch of dumb birds? Much like a Holocaust denier, or a fat person who is only fat due to genetics denier, I, Ragreynolds, am an Australia denier. The founder of New Zealand hated how his people sounded when they spoke. He realised that the rest of the world probably would too. And since they were entering into an age where it was quite obvious that the entire world would be communicating via audio and video and not just written word, it was necessary to make their country known as anything other than the worst received country known to man. So he got his council together and they put together a plan. They were going to take all of the worst parts of their culture, make it 50 times worse, ingrain it into the minds of 100 citizens with the lowest IQs, and then put those people into an abandoned city together with cameras on them 24/7.
You see, after my video about how Australia wasn't real, I thought that it would be best if I investigated for myself. When people go to Australia, they're actually landing in New Zealand and they are drugged. They imagine all of the experiences there. So I did some research to find out what the drug was that they drug you with, and it's called kyrotine. I wanted to find something I could take that would counteract the effects as much as possible so that I could see for real what was going on. I took a small amount of this. I didn't know how much to take. Looking back on it, I should have taken more. And there was a point during the journey where I started to feel tripping. And I started seeing things almost in my head and in front of me, especially. By the time we landed, it was fully heightened. When we landed, no one else got up from their seats. I almost did, but I noticed no one else was moving, so I stayed sitting, because obviously I don't want anyone to think that I'm out of place. And all these other people are sitting around me and they're sitting down, and I'm like, I think this is it. I think this is the proof that I need. And they're all sitting there and they were all almost in a trance, just still, eyes wide open, no one was blinking.
And I'm joined by self-proclaimed Australians as they're going to attempt to explain to me just why they think that Australia is a real place. Guys, are those your real accents?
Yes, this is my real accent. It's mixed with a bit of Kiwi, but
Kiwi? Isn't that a fruit? I thought a kiwi was a fruit since when? How can it be an accent?
Well, like a kiwi is a fruit, but it's also an accent.
No, how can it be an accent and a fruit? It can't be both.
Because that's just what it's called.
It's just a combination, I believe, just slang.
A combination of what? A combination of nonsense? You think your country is real, but it's not. You're actually living in New Zealand. You've been drugged and brainwashed.
I've been drugged in my whole life, or brainwashed. I'm quite shy. I live in Australia.
Well, how would you know if you were brainwashed? You're not going to know that you're brainwashed if you've been brainwashed. You're drugged.
So when me and Amanda, because me and Amanda are quite into music and stuff.
Okay.
So just say that if we ever get worldwide famous or something in that area, what do we go and under the name of Australian?
No, you just go under the name of delusional.
Okay,
Alright,
that was so uncalled for.
How can a country have so many horrible animals in one place? It sounds like a bloody Dr. Seuss novel.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
it's not
we are
even
known
real.
Australia doesn't exist because it sounds bad. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I'm glad you finally understand.
That makes
Necessarily.
no
What about
sense.
the Amazon then? In those ideas.
The Amazon, is that not a website? Do you not buy things from that?
No, it is actually not.
What are you talking about?
There are plenty of scary, dangerous places all over the world. I don't
Name
So
another
don't you-
one.
The Amazon.
You just said the Amazon.
I've never heard of that. What are you talking? I think you're making more things up. The Amazon. What bullshit is that?
Did you ever take a geography class?
A geography
Or you
class?
just
Yeah,
like,
I'm great at geography. I know all about rocks and shit.
It's not real. It is not fucking real. Australia does not exist. It isn't real. Can't you delusional fucks get that through your thick skulls? Get over it. It's not a real place. You janky ass cunt weaves are really beginning to get on my nerves. There's no proof that it exists. There's no sense in thinking that it could ever possibly be a real place. Yet you all still, Australia is real. No, it's not. It's not real. It's a fantasy. It's no more real than Narnia, or Middle Earth, or the weird place where the Teletubbies live. You claim it was discovered by Captain Cook. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds as legit as Captain Hook, as Captain Birdseye and Colonel Sanders. It's nonsense to think that Australia could be a real place. They have spiders bigger than birds. Oh, what's next? We're gonna have penguins that can fly? Fat people who are fat just because of their genetics? The Cookie Monster? Pansexual people? Cyberbullying? What's next? What are you going to pretend is real next? None of these things are real! In the bad backlands of Australia, many years ago, the Aborigine tribes were meeting and having a big powwow. We got a lot of trouble, Chief, on account of your son Mac. My boy Mac? What's wrong with him? My boomerang won't come back! Your boomerang won't come back? My boomerang won't come back!
I waved the thing all over the place, practiced till I was black in the face. I'm a big disgrace, the Aborigine race. My boomerang won't come back.
You don't know, you damn well should know. This is a boomerang and we're going to find out if they come back. Boomerangs don't come back. This is apparently a staple of Australian culture. Oh god, I'm not going to get through this. I forgot about the accents. Why is a kangaroo playing drums?
Why don't you think Australia is real?
What do you mean, why don't I think it's real? I know it's not real. This isn't a matter of opinion, this isn't a matter of thinking, this is a matter of things that have been proven. I mean, I've shown countless amounts of evidence.
I've always thought that I live in this place called Australia.
Well, you don't. You actually live in New Zealand, and you have been brainwashed. You think you live in Australia, but you don't. You have been drugged up and brainwashed. It was an elaborate hoax by the New Zealand government, because back all those years ago, when people in all these countries were first starting to discover each other, New Zealand thought, oh no, we're a pretty terrible country. We should really make sure that we're not the worst country. So they created Australia as a guise so that people thought, okay, New Zealand might be bad, but at least they're not as bad as Australia.
We are real. That's why it's funny to me, and I know that it's serious to you.
We are real. Give me some evidence that you're real. I've not seen any evidence.
Give me some evidence that we're not. Because
I've given lots of evidence.
You haven't.
I am guessing with you. You should have done your research.
I've done some research.
All I know for sure is that I was on the plane the entire time. I took a counteractive to the drug that they were putting me on, and that counteractive was to drink a bottle of vinegar, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever drank in my life. And I drank that bottle of vinegar right before the flight, and it kept me half awake for the whole thing. And I saw what was going on. I was only half hallucinating. I was sitting on the plane.
Australian flu. Really? Really? You expect me to believe that a country that doesn't even exist has somehow managed to spread a deadly flu, a deadly disease, to the other side of the world? And you expect me to believe that this made-up disease is killing people? That people are in hospital, people are bedridden, people are having their lives ruined? Really? I wasn't born yesterday.
Let him talk. Let him talk. I want to hear his answer.
Do they not teach you to communicate where you're from? Do you think it's fine to just, when someone's having a discussion or a debate and you ask them a question, instead of letting them answer, do you think you just go blah 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 over the top of them?
Yes, actually I do.
Because you said that our spiders are bigger than birds here. Okay. There's only one species of spider that's bigger than birds, which is, the huntsman. They can get up to 20 centimeters with the leg span, right? Which 20 centimeters is like this wide with the legs, right?
Okay,
so
but
from
isn't that
leg
a movie?
to leg, huh?
Isn't that a movie?
A huntsman is a spider. There is a movie called The Huntsman, but it's also a spider.
So you're not talking about the movie?
No. Why would I be talking about the movie?
Well, that's what I thought you were
watch
talking
movies.
about. I mean, I mentioned Snow White, and then suddenly you started talking about a huntsman, so I assumed that's what you were talking about.
I started the quote with the spider talk, and then said the largest species of spider is the huntsman.
I think you've just got something wrong. I don't think you're understanding what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The New Zealand government sectioned off a part of the country, and they put the lowest common denominators from society all in there. All the most stupid people.
Like who? Like what types of peoples? Let's see what kind.
I don't know. I'm not a stereotyper.
I just figured. I don't know.
Just all the stupid people. They put all the stupid people.
Maybe anybody with an IQ below 60. Something along those lines. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
They put them all in this one little area.
Understandable.
They brainwashed them. They drugged them, and they left them there.
Oh shit! And then that sounds like Scientology, kind of. Like.
And through generations of drugging and brainwashing and interbreeding between these people, the myth came to life, and the world started to accept it.
I don't know. Feels pretty real, eh? I don't know, man. CGI's getting pretty good. It could all be fake.
Let me explain something to you, laser tard. No, you're not CGI. There is no CGI. That is not what's happening there. Yes, you like to show, oh, I walked outside. That means Australia is real because look at this. There are buildings here, and you can. Oh, it seems real. Okay, I'm not disputing that you live somewhere. I'm not disputing that you can go outside somewhere. You don't seem to understand the facts. The facts are, you are in New Zealand. You think you're in Australia, but you are in New Zealand, and you have been drugged and you have been brainwashed.
Ragreynolds. Ragreynolds or rag.
You clearly do not suit your name. You call yourself Instinct. Maybe it should be Bad Instinct, because you have no inclination, you have no instinct to pronounce my name correctly. I mean, you've obviously not watched very many of my videos, if at all, because in almost every single one of my videos, I start the video off by saying my name.
He makes these videos about Australia. They're pretty racist.
They're pretty racist. Let's just for a second believe that Australia is a real place and that it's some sort of nice place, okay? Let's just for a second pretend that. Just to play along with your little game. Okay, are we pretending now? Okay, you got that? You got that? You thinking? Okay. In what world, in what parallel universe is Australian a race? It's not, dummy. It's not a race. At the very most, you could claim that my videos were xenophobic. But considering Australia is not a real place, that does not count. Can I be xenophobic towards Narnians, people living in Narnia? Of course not. Australian Fortnite community, I declare war. All-out war. And I promise you, you cannot win this war. You cannot beat Ragreynolds in a war. You may have got one little battle because I stumbled, but that's all you're getting. You will get nothing else. Nothing else at all. Until you are gone. And then maybe you will get a little bit of redemption, a little bit of salvation when you're standing at the gates of hell. Maybe then will you get something over on me. But until then, while we're still on planet Earth, while we're still in the real world, while we're still living, you will get nothing else on me.
Until you prove me wrong, I'll prove you wrong.
The difference is, I have proof of Australia not being real, and you care when I say Australia isn't real. Whereas you have no proof that Scotland isn't real, and I don't care if you say Scotland isn't real. That's the difference. Do you want to know the truth? In fact, disregard that question. Of course you want to know the truth. If you didn't, you wouldn't watch my channel. People watch my channel, they watch these videos. You clicked on this video to hear the truth. I get comments every single day. People claiming to be Australian, claiming to live there. Even people who don't claim to live there, just other people from all over the world. Telling me that I'm stupid, telling me I'm insane, telling me I'm a horrible person, insulting me, sending me threats. Everyone who comments on my Australia videos, who claims to be Australian, every single one of them is stupid. Every single one of them is a dum-dum. And that's the truth.
Ragreynolds has this drug, apparently, called chirotini. Now, chirotini, he has confirmed to me in our live stream that it was half a bottle of vinegar that he drank.
You have this all wrong, and maybe this is why you don't yet understand. I don't have the drug chirotini. Chirotini was not vinegar. For everyone wondering what she's talking about, I said in my video when I went to Australia it's not real, that when you're on the planes on the way over to Australia, or the boats or whatever, you are drugged on the plane. Okay? That drug is called chirotini. She is mistaking that for the antidote to chirotini, which I said was vinegar. And I said I drank half a bottle of vinegar to try and counteract the chirotini when I was on the flight, but I didn't drink enough, so I was only half cured of the chirotini, so I was only half dazing, only half imagining things. I'm not forcing anyone to watch these videos. I'm not forcing you to listen to what I have to say. You chose to click onto my video. You chose to search for my name. You chose to listen. You chose to write a comment. Yes, I chose to put those videos out there. Yes, I chose to say the things that I said. But you don't have to listen. If you don't like what I have to say, you don't have to pay attention. You don't have to give me those views. You don't have to give me a comment. You can just ignore me. That is your choice. It's not my fault if you don't have any self-control. In this video, I was not calling Australians stupid. I was calling the people who comment on my videos about Australia stupid. There is a difference. You with, and it's called chirotini.
Chirotini. Chirotini. I just can't. I can't imagine that being a medical term for anything. Chirotini.
K-Y-R-O-T-E-E-N-E. Chirotini. Okay?
And also self-declared people's champion of fucking Australia, I take it very bloody personally.
If you truly did take it personally, then you are a dum-dum. And you are a crybaby. But that is also good. I'm glad that you took it personally. And I'm glad that you're telling me that.
Like, what about the other people on those boats? Like Matthew Flinders.
Matthew Flinders. That's your big point? That's your rebuttal to me making fun of Captain Cook being a real person? Matthew Flinders sounds just as ridiculous as Captain Cook. You expect me to believe that?
You are starting a war you don't want to start, little boy.
Mr. Margarine, listen a second. This will not be a war. It will be a one-sided pounding, and I will be the one swinging the hammer. And before we go any further, I need to ask you one very specific question, and that is, are those your real accents?
Yeah, this is my real accent.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. I did say this in a video I made about you, but I went to Israel and I saw kangaroos in the zoo. Are those ones also robotic, or are they just like the
Definitely
one
robotic.
animal?
I mean, you're talking about a zoo. It's a money-making scheme. It's a money-making scheme. Why else would... They're trying to make money. They're going to buy in robots. When you go to Australia, you're drugged and you're left on the plane, okay? If you live in Australia already, you're actually in New Zealand, a sectioned off area. So obviously there aren't 25 million people there. You wouldn't fit them all in. But there are a certain number of people who are in New Zealand and they think that they are Australian. And they have been drugged and brainwashed since they were children, such as yourselves. There are all these people crying in the chat. There are people crying in my video comments, people sending me death threats and so upset. You're so offensive. You're so racist. Oh, please.
Hey, Rag, listen.
Okay,
listen, you use New Zealand as the basis for your arguments on why Australia doesn't exist, right? But paradoxically, since New Zealand was attached to Australia at one point, why do you? What kind of paradox is this, man? Without Australia, New Zealand wouldn't exist. What's wrong with your argument?
Please calm down a second. I can ask your question again. Please word it.
Oh my gosh! You're actually either dumb or a troll. Oh.
You're actually either dumb
He's Shrek, okay? He's
Asia, please do yourself a favor and shut up. No one cares about what you have to say.
If he researched correctly, he would have posed a better argument that New Zealand is not making Australia exist. Because New Zealand came after Australia.
Every single day I get comments to say, how would you, this is so offensive, how would you feel if I said Scotland wasn't real? And do you know what I say every single time? I say, I wouldn't care because I'm not a little bitch who cries about things like that.
Gilles Serviette, a Frenchman, who told me about carotene. He had mentioned it to me. So I went to 4chan and I had a nice conversation with a guy I met from there and his name was Doug. And the next thing I know, he's telling me that the cure to carotene is vinegar. What I'm starting to realise now that people are telling me vinegar would have killed me to drink that much of it. Doug wasn't my friend. Doug was trying to kill me. Doug was trying to get me to kill myself. This was orchestrated from the very beginning. So I spoke to Gilles again and Gilles says it was a guy called Doug that told Gilles about the carotene when Gilles went looking for information about me. And I'm thinking, this must be the same Doug. Maybe I was only seeing things because I should have been dead. I drank half a bottle of vinegar and I survived. Somehow I survived. I shouldn't have, but I survived. So it makes sense that I would have been imagining things. It makes sense that I would have been hallucinating. So now I'm left thinking, I'm a smart guy. I like to think of myself as a smart guy and I'm logical and I'm rational and I think well. And now I'm starting to think, all I have left is speculation and theories. This was my one piece of evidence and now I don't have it. Because it wasn't real. It's this Doug guy, for whatever reason, we'll get to that in a second, has fooled me. He has duped me. And I'm not easy to fool. And this guy managed to. And that's why I wanted to make this video and say I was wrong. For once, I was wrong. And that doesn't happen very often.
Ragreynolds, the coolest lad you'll find. Ragreynolds, a Scottish master